Not only is clearance food shopping super fun and money saving, it can also be an inspiration for your week ahead in meals. Welcome to Meals with Maria. Today we are cooking and shopping clearance. I even have a clearance grocery haul for you, something I haven't done in forever, but I wanted to show you all the wonderful finds that I got and then show you 3 magical meals that I made with the clearance find.
I feel like I did amazing. I can't believe how much food is here. My little guy here, missing a shoe, walking around, causing trouble. They're around, so if they're loud, it's real life. All right, so bakery section's always a huge hit with the clearance, and I grabbed just these rolls, which were originally, they had a price on them. Where did it go? Oh, here we go. $2.19, 50% off, so we're looking at $1.08, which is not like an amazing price for rolls. I think around $1 is usually, I guess I'd say amazing. Around $1 is a really good price. So I can put these in the fridge, I can put these in the freezer, but I actually have some chicken patties in the freezer, so these are good to go with those. I grabbed this rye bread, and this is what I was actually annoyed about because I bought it for full price at $4.99. And then they went to the second store and they had it like almost exactly the same for 50% off. So it would have been like $2.50. So that was my impatience. I grabbed the sourdough bread because I like to have this in the morning, and not a great price at $4.28, but still better than fresh. And I don't care if it's stale. I grabbed these croissants for the kids for $2.50. Pretty good deal. Actually, no, sorry, $3. They're pretty decent size. JJ's taking them. He's like, are you gonna eat that? Not waiting. The line's no waiting. I got these bagels, $4.99 original, 50% off. So $2.50, and they're all like the fresh bagels from the bakery. Pretty decent. There's how many? 6 in here. JJ will eat these for breakfast, so that's good. Figs were such a deal. 49 cents for these packages of figs, which is kind of like an odd thing, but Tommy loves figs, so he already like bit right into one and really enjoyed it. So it's a great snack for him. These apples were not on clearance, but they were $1.99 for 3 pounds. So whenever I see a price like that on apples, I'm snagging them. Then I grabbed these 2 oatmeals for $1.79, which is a really good price for the Quaker oatmeal. I mean, they may be missing a packet, I don't know, because they're like taped together and a little funky, but that's okay. I eat these for breakfast a lot, so this is a good deal to have to stick around. JJ wanted to grab these. This isn't like an amazing price, but they were on the clearance rack and he wanted to have them for Super Bowl, so I let him snag them. Bananas were on a huge sale, and you can see that they're, like they're going, but if you saw my $0 like pantry clean out or whatever, and I made those muffins, and I said, I am like out of freezer bananas. True story. So I figured I'm gonna grab all these, 42 cents. There's like one for 30 something cents. I mean, 19 cents a pound, really cheap. I'm gonna throw them in the freezer so that I can make banana blueberry muffins for the kiddos. These guys were $2.79 on, or $2.97 I think, on like a major sale at Shaw's if you use like the Just For You promotion. And I think it's 4 pounds of, it's heavy, oranges, and Benny loves these, so these are a great snack. I'm losing something. Blueberries, Julian already grabbed another one of these. These were 2 for $4, just on regular sale. And then I got 2 packs of these avocados, and these were $2.99 for 4, which is a really great price. The regular avocados were 99 cents a pound, or 99 cents each. These are a little smaller, I think, than like in the regular selection, but that doesn't bother me because otherwise there's just like a lot of avocados, so I don't really care if they're smaller. Grabbed some bok choy. I figured we can do some bok choy like stir fry as one of the lunches, and that's going to be a meal in this video. Cantaloupe was $2.99 on sale. I haven't had one in a while. I just figured that was a good fruit snack for me. Julian wanted to grab these. I think they were $2.50 a pound, which is not an amazing grape deal, but he just saw them and I said that's fine. At that sale price, I would go with it. Eggs, I grabbed these eggs. We'll do some breakfast stuff hopefully, and my secret with eggs right now is these organic ones. They end up being, I think, like they were like 3 something, so less than $4 each. They're medium, so they're a little bit smaller, but kind of like with the avocados, like it's fine because I'm not going to use extra eggs because they're medium size. Like they'll be fine in a meal. They'll be fine like if you use them in a recipe, so whatever. I'm trying to save on the eggs. Swiss, I needed this for, well, we're gonna do, you'll see. I wanted the rye bread because I wanted to do patty melts with my clearance ground beef. So I had to grab some Swiss, and this one was not on sale, but I already had some stuff on hand, so I just grabbed those. String cheese for the kiddos, not on sale, but I always buy the biggest package so I get the most bang for my buck. I grabbed some cheddar. I think it was like $3.69 on sale. I love the Kerrygold. That's one of my favorites. So just to keep on hand. Same thing with pepperoni, not on sale, but I grabbed it. We got these limes for 99 cents. It's always good to have citrus around. They really elevate like a breakfast, or not a breakfast, maybe a breakfast. They elevate like a burrito bowl or something like that. Diced tomatoes. Every time I see fire roasted, you guys know how I feel about that. For on sale, like less than $2 is a good price for these. Sometimes they even see them at Whole Foods for less, but $1.39 is reasonable. So I grabbed that can because that was the only one in the clearance section. Then I got 3 of these amazing ham, and Tommy eats these for lunch every single week. He has ham and cheese in his lunchbox with one of these mozzarella sticks. So we'll go through this quickly, and even so, I'm just going to probably put a couple of them in the freezer and then take them out weekly when we need them. But if you see, you're saving almost, it's a 50% savings, and this stuff is not cheap, and this is what I like to buy for him, so I was very pleased. These are definitely not on sale, but it's Valentine's, and Tommy's class asked him to bring something in. I signed up for cookies because these are his absolute favorite cookies, and he's a little bit picky when it comes to sweet. And then meat, I got such good deals. So we're gonna do patty melts. You'll see that in this video. And I got the previously frozen, which I'm gonna use this for tomorrow, so it's fine, for $2.65 a pound, which is, you know, you're saving quite a bit per pound. And I don't mind that it's previously frozen right now because I'm just gonna cook it up tomorrow. So not a bad deal. Some stew beef. We're gonna make a stew. I do have some potatoes and some carrots on hand, so we'll just use that in a delicious stew, and we're saving a crazy amount, but we're going down to $3.80 a pound, which is pretty reasonable. I grabbed this chicken breast, not on clearance, but on sale for $1.99 a pound. I think I'm gonna probably throw that in the freezer and use that later. And then it's Super Bowl, we were gonna have wings, so I did have to grab some party wings. I wanted to get the fresh ones. I think the frozen were probably cheaper, but for me, it's just easier to cook them like this and do them in the air fryer.
Hi.
You have anything else you want to say?
No.
Okay, thanks. Julian wanted these chewy dips, and $2.79 for 14 bars is a pretty good price. He does have like a rule where he can't bring peanut butter to school, so we'll have to leave these at home, but it's not a good snack, but it's an okay snack. He'll eat it, he'll be happy. Then I snagged, I prefer to buy organic chicken, just because of the way that chickens are raised and whatnot. 50% off is a good price on this, so I was happy to snag it because organic chicken is really almost never goes on sale, and it's just not cheap. So anytime I can find a sale price, I am into it. We'll use this to make our chicken, like stir fry with the bok choy. I grabbed some tomatoes. I might do some bowls with these. They were on sale for 99 cents a pound, so not clearance, but still a really good price. I got some guacamole. This was on sale for $2.50, which I felt was pretty good. And when I looked at the ingredients, it was really clean. So like it wasn't like had like a ton of additives or anything like that, because some of the guacamoles are just full of who knows what. I grabbed salsa, also not on sale, but I needed some fresh salsa. 2 things of cheese. These were on like a just for you promotion. I think it was like $2.19 each, or maybe even less. I remember it was like right around $2. And so when I see cheese for right around $2, I'm gonna grab it. That's a good price. I grabbed 2 of these chicken stocks. Again, I like to grab the organic ones if I can. And where's the, oh yeah, $2.59. So it's still not cheap, but on clearance, so I grabbed those. Panda Puffs, just a snack for the kids or breakfast, $5.49, 50% off. So again, for an organic breakfast cereal, that's actually pretty cheap. Not a huge thing because it still has a lot of sugar in it, but it makes them happy. This bacon on sale for $3.97, which is a really, really good price for bacon. And Julian wanted these animal smoothies, so that is what he got, and they're not on sale. So I'm gonna put everything away and we can get cooking for the week.
We're gonna get started with patty melts. I had been looking forward to this recipe for a while, and this was the time. It was Super Bowl. It was time to make them. I was still bummed out that I didn't get the sale deal on the rye bread, but you know, it happens. I'm still glad that I was able to grab that clearance ground beef. So if you have some ground beef in your freezer, you can always make a patty melt work with, I think, what you have on hand. See what you can find. I think you can do it. We're gonna start by slicing up 2 onions. I'm making 4 of these, so you actually need like 1 onion per patty melt, because one of the signature pieces to a patty melt is a delicious caramelized onion. And there's a really fun way to make these in this recipe, so stay tuned. You're going to want to hear this. I had a little over a pound of ground beef, or maybe more, but your patties generally want to be about 4 ounces each, and you can make them really thin. So you really want to make a thin hamburger patty when you're making a patty melt. I made, I think, 5 of them because the boys were going to eat some too. And I realized I actually used the 2 full onions because you can never have too many caramelized onions, according to me. But we ended up making 3 patty melts exactly, so the boys just had regular burgers. And my mom was there for Super Bowl, so that's why we had 3 patty melts, and then the big boys had the regular burgers. If you need me to explain it to you, that is why that went down that way. And then you just want to season your burgers generously with salt and pepper. And then in a large skillet over medium heat, melt a tablespoon of butter, and we're just going to toast up our rye bread. So I'm going to get started with 3 of them, and then I'm going to do 3 more, and then we're going to place them. I'm just using a baking sheet, and you're going to place them so that the crispy side is up. And we're actually going to place our burgers and all of our fillings and cheese and whatnot on top of the crispy side. And then we're going to cook them again on the other side. So you're going to actually have like buttery, crispy bread on both sides, which is absolutely phenomenal. And I'm going to make all my grilled cheeses and everything like this from now on because it's the best. And then before you add the burgers, you do want to add another tablespoon of butter to the bottom of that pan because you're not going to get enough butter with these melts. And then I'm just going to be able to cook 3 of my burgers perfectly on the pan right here. I see how they're really flat. You really want to try and flatten them out. I wanted them to kind of fill the whole piece of bread as much as they could. And then the recipe calls for, I think it's like 4 slices of American cheese for 2 of them. And I think I had like maybe 3 or 4 slices between the 3 of them, like not too much. So I just tore them into pieces. This is where I'm saying, like, when you're making these, make them your own, whatever type of cheese you have, kind of make it work. I mean, American, it has its time and place, and this is definitely one of them. So if you have it, do it. And then I also have Swiss, which I think that Swiss cheese definitely deserves to be on a tuna melt, on a patty melt if you have it. And again, you just kind of want to tear it into pieces and really cover those pieces of crispy bread. And at the same time, my burgers are cooking. Once they're nice and charred on one side, I'm going to cook them for about 3 minutes on each side. And then just give them a good flip. You can see how it's really just like charred there on that other side. And do about 3 minutes on the other side. Again, it's going to be how you like your burger cooked. So we are going to kind of heat them through again, and they're going to sit here for a little bit while we cook up some onions. So they will have time to cook a little bit longer if you like them more well done. With a thin burger like this, it's not really going to be like a rare burger. It's unlikely you're going to get like a rare one, and it's not really what it's all about. It's really just about that like fatty meat, and look at all that juice. So we are going to slide those onions right in there. We're going to cook these over medium low heat, but the secret to these is we're going to be using some water. So you want to pour in 2 tablespoons of water to your skillet over that medium heat and season with salt and pepper. And we're going to cook this down until kind of that water evaporates a little bit. I had a lot of fat in the bottom of my pan, so mine didn't ever really like get dry per se, but every minute or so, just add a couple more tablespoons of water. And I was shocked at how fast, and hey, another tablespoon of butter, because why not? I was shocked at how fast the onions caramelized when cooked like this. So my experience caramelizing onions is that it takes like half hour, 40 minutes. You want to cook them on low heat. You just have to wait. Well, cooking them in water like this seemed to kind of caramelize them and make them like this brown and really cook them down and wilt them down a lot faster. Maybe it's kind of like because it's steaming them. But you want to do that about 4 or 5 times with the 2 tablespoons of water. And then you can just put your onions right over, and they're going to be like this golden brown. You want to put them on the cheese side, but then I had to like combine the burger and the onion, and I was like, why don't I just put the onions on top of the burger and then put, so whatever order you want to do it in, because we're going to combine this into big patty melts anyway, so it's going to be great. So just use up all those onions as much as you like, as much as you have, and then we're going to place those back in the pan with some more butter if you want, and just heat them all the way through until that cheese is melted, and make sure that your burgers are warm. So sometimes like they've been sitting there for a little bit, so you do want to make sure they're warmed all the way through. These were delicious, so amazing. I was so happy to share them with my husband and mom. They were both very grateful and very, very happy to have that for an event such as the Super Bowl. It was really special. So absolutely 100% recommend. This is going to be great for any special occasion. It's also going to be great for any weeknight dinner. It's going to be relatively inexpensive. Like anytime you're caramelizing onions like this, it's just not, it doesn't cost a lot to use onions. And like I said, grab whatever cheese you have in your fridge if you don't have the cheeses that I mentioned. And you can even do this on a regular piece of bread. I swear it's going to be great. So next up, we have a chicken and bok choy stir fry. This was amazing. Loved finding that bok choy on sale. It's actually usually pretty inexpensive anyway, so you can get some chicken on sale. We're serving it with rice. These are just different spices that I had around the house, or different seasonings. What is it? Soy sauce. I always have soy sauce. So things that I already had on hand. You want to start with 2 tablespoons of soy sauce, 2 tablespoons of rice wine vinegar, and I actually didn't have rice wine vinegar, so I used apple cider vinegar, and I have used that as a substitute in the past, and it's been just fine. So that is a delicious substitute and something most people do have on hand. You also want 1.5 tablespoons of sesame oil and 2 teaspoons of light brown sugar. And that's it. That's a very simple sauce that we're going to use for this. It's delicious. It's something that I would use again and again in any stir fry. So even if you don't have bok choy on hand, you could use broccoli. You can use whatever type of vegetable that you can get on sale. So with this, I'm going to make up some instant rice. And I was just thinking, I'm like, instant rice is definitely more expensive than getting like the plain, bag of it. But sometimes, like, especially as a busy mom, like if you're in a rush, the chances of you making like the full like half hour, 45-minute rice dish, unless you're using an Instant Pot or whatever, sometimes it's just like you don't want to get all the stuff out. So I was thinking about how it's actually kind of like it's like a budget hack almost, because it helps, like you don't have an excuse, right? If you have the instant rice, you know that you'll be able to get it done in like 10, it says 5, but it's 10 because it cooks in 5 minutes. It's a liar. You have to actually boil the water first. So we're going to boil the water. We're going to make a couple servings of this, and it's going to be great. So I just sliced up my organic, 50% off chicken right here, like real thin. And we're going to throw this in a hot pan or wok. And then I was just thinking, I took out this stuff again because I'm actually going to double. Look how cute this is. Julian made this for me. I love it. Okay, so what I was thinking was I was gonna make up actually a little bit more of this sauce, because I was channeling my inner Mandy from Mandy in the Making, because a few weeks ago, Ben's loud, she was saying when you make like a dish like this, especially like a stir fry dish, she always doubles the sauce, and the one she made, she even said she should have tripled it. So I'm thinking this does not look like enough, so we're gonna double it. So I'm heating about 2-3 tablespoons of oil over high heat, and you don't want to use olive oil in this case because this is high heat and olive oil has a low burn point. So you want any oil with a high burn point, which is like a canola or a vegetable or something like that. So here's a little tip on reading recipes. You have to read the comments, because in this particular one, it had good ratings, but if you read the comments, it said, do not add the sauce when you do the chicken, or don't even marinate the chicken in the sauce. And the reason for this is because it will basically burn. You're cooking at such a high heat point, and then it's going to basically turn to like molasses. So I read the comments and decided I'm actually just going to add the sauce later, and we're not going to burn it, and it's going to be fine. And I agree, after having it, it's good. All right, to get this one started, I diced up about 2 tablespoons of fresh ginger, 2 cloves of fresh garlic, and about 3/4 of a pound of baby bok choy. And the original recipe calls for leeks, but I didn't have them, so I just grabbed what I could from these scallions and just slice them up. We're just gonna throw them all in there kind of with the bok choy. I think it'll cook down and give it that oniony flavor that we're looking for without actually having the leeks. I think it's gonna be just fine. And if you do have leeks, go ahead and use them. They're delicious. I love leeks. I just didn't happen to have any on hand, and there were none on sale. And so I'm just going to brown up this chicken. You want it to be fully cooked through. We're just going to add it back at the end with the sauce so you can see how some of the parts were brown. I'm just putting it off the side into a paper bowl, whatever you want to put it in. And then we're going to get started with the veggies. It's hot. We're going to put in this bok choy. I didn't add extra oil. You can. I'm just going to kind of see how it turns out. It seems like it was oily enough, so I don't want to add more. Just throw all those scallions in there, too. If you have leeks, put them in. I love leeks. I just didn't have any. You're really going to only cook this for about a minute until it's wilted. And then we're going to add in that sauce and then the ginger and the minced garlic. And just want to cook that for about a minute. Then we'll add in the chicken. If you want, you can add chili flakes. Smells incredible. I mean, there's so much flavor going on. I'm going to add this chicken right back in. I don't want this bok choy to let too cook down. And we're going to remove it from the heat pretty much as soon as I get everything all mixed up. So this is what everything looks like. It looks delicious. It tastes delicious. There was plenty of sauce, which I love. I'm going to throw some of this chili crunch on here. If you have not tried this, holy moly, it's really good. But it definitely is if you like spicy stuff. Really, really good. So let's get a bite. It's like crazy in here today, not like a regular family dinner. Lots of flavor. Delicious. Make it. Seriously. Find some clearance chicken and some clearance bok choy and make this. All right, next up, we're making a classic or an old-fashioned beef stew. I was able to find that beef on sale, and I pretty much always have potatoes and carrots around my house. I always try and buy the potatoes when they're on sale for really, really inexpensive, and I was actually just able after this to buy a bag of potatoes for 99 cents. And I had mentioned that on my Instagram. So I'm always trying to share like the deals I get on there. So make sure to follow me over on Instagram at meals.withmaria to see those kind of deals. So I'm just starting off with about a cup of flour and some salt and pepper inside of the flour. And when I'm doing beef like this, I like to just kind of mix it up in a bag. That's the easiest way, but you can do this in a bowl too. I was able to I had like another package of stew beef in the freezer. So I just pulled that out. We're going to make double the recipe today and just make a big old pot of stew so that we have some leftovers. I always feel like, I don't know, there's just like never enough beef in a beef stew. So I just wanted to go extra and go crazy. So I like to use the bag because you can just shake it up and get those pieces of beef fully covered in the flour mixture, whatever way you want to do it. And then we're going to cook this over medium-high heat in a stock pot. So you want something that you can cook the full stew in, just with a little bit of vegetable oil in the bottom of the pan. You can do that in batches because the full like 2 pounds plus of meat is definitely not going to fit in there. And then just place them on a plate once you're done cooking them. You just want them crispy on the outside. We're not trying to cook them all the way through. We're going to let it sit on the stove for a while. And while we're doing that, we're actually developing a ton of flavor in the bottom of the pan. So you want to take 4 tablespoons of red wine vinegar and 2 cups of red wine and add that to the pan, and that's going to deglaze. You can see all that steam coming off there, but you really want to take your tongs or whatever you're using and kind of scrape up all the brown bits on the bottom of the pan. This is going to make a very concentrated and flavorful tasting kind of beginnings to your stew. To that, I'm going to add 7 cups of beef broth and 2 bay leaves. And it seems like a lot, but we're making a big, large stew, so you can definitely half this. The original recipe is half of this, so I'm just making double. And then we're going to add our beef back to the pan. You want to make sure that this is boiling. Bring it back up to a boil if you need to. Then bring it down to a simmer by turning it to low heat and cover it and cook it for about 90 minutes. During that time, I'm going to chop up my vegetables. That's kind of what I love about this recipe, is that it gives you time in the middle where you can do some of your prep work while you're actually cooking something, because I love saving time like that. You don't have to get everything ready ahead of time. I'm cutting up about 3 pounds of potatoes. I'm going to leave the skins on them, and I get to a point where some of my potatoes actually have like some pretty big eyes on them, and I'm just going to take those eyes right out and still cut up the potatoes. I always say to you guys, I'm not being super efficient on this. Like, I know I'm wasting some potato, but I'm always saying, you know, use what you have on hand. Don't waste things. This is still a really good potato. Just because it has an eye on it doesn't mean that anything terrible is going to happen. And then I used about 8 carrots, I think. Originally it said 10, but it seemed like plenty once I sliced up 8 carrots. So I figured just put those off to the side. After the 90 minutes is up, you want to add your carrots and 2 chopped onions. I don't have the chopped onions on camera, but I did chop them up, to your stew, and we're gonna cook that another 40 minutes covered. And then after the 40 minutes, you want to add the potatoes and cook that for about 20 minutes. At this point, your stew is pretty much done. I felt like mine was a little watery for my taste, so I did add a slurry of cornstarch and water. You can just take like a tablespoon of cornstarch and a tablespoon of water, mix it together and add that in, and then just kind of bring the stew back up to a boil, and it will thicken a little bit. And I found that that was pretty helpful in just thickening it to my likings, but that's your choice. You can take those bay leaves out if you remember to do that. But this was absolutely delicious. I want to thank you so much for watching today. If you want to see some more delicious soup and stew recipes, click on this next video, and make sure the next time that you're watching YouTube, you're watching Meals with Maria, and I'll see you all very soon.